What's up, YouTube? I'm Brett from Rants. As always, guys, if y'all enjoy our content, don't forget to like, subscribe, and leave a comment down below. We're on the road to 1,000. We hope you guys will help us get there. Alright, so we're getting a little bit more information about She-Hulk, which was, of course, is a Disney Plus MCU series that's going to be really kind of one of the headliners for at least the initial stage of Phase 4 of the MCU. This overall is not exactly my favorite idea. I was never much of a She-Hulk fan. I always kind of felt like She-Hulk was kind of a knockoff of the original Hulk. But I know there's a huge comic book following that will be really excited to see this character brought to life. But Kevin Feige is now confirming his runtime and also episode count and whether or not it might just be a one and done season. So let's go ahead and get into it, what Kevin Feige's talking about. Marvel Studios head Kevin Feige confirmed how long She-Hulk will run and how many episodes the first season will be. Feige spoke to IGN about the upcoming series, how long it will run, and how many episodes it will likely have. During Disney's Investors Day, it was announced that She-Hulk will be a half-hour comedy set in the legal world starring orphan black lead Tatiana Maslany. As such, it will follow a number of comic book story arcs featuring Jennifer Walters continuing her work as a lawyer while spending all of her time in Hulk mode. Now the head of Marvel Studios has gone into more detail on the length of the first and potentially only season of the show. It's about 6 hours of content, said Feige. Sometimes that'll be 6 episodes, sometimes that'll be 9 episodes. In the case of WandaVision, sometimes that'll be 10 episodes. You basically have 10 half-hour episodes, which is what She-Hulk will be. It all varies based on the story that we're telling, and only based on the story that we're telling, Feige continued. A lot of the reasons for other things are the rules of you need this many commercial breaks, you need this many episodes in a season, you need this many episodes to be able to resell it in syndication. There are lots of non-creative reasons for the way a story would be told. Now there are ways to make all of that work. None of that was a factor when it comes to streaming on Disney Plus. So we got to just say, basically, here's what we're thinking, here's how we'd like to do it. Now, that to me that is an interesting concept. That one that I guess I haven't really thought about very much is the streaming services have really changed how we watch just television in general. When you watch a show on CBS, Fox, whatever, and you tape it, you realize that, when you take out the commercials, you barely have maybe on a half-hour program, maybe 20 minutes, maybe a little less of content. You're not getting the full 30 minutes. So, when I see like a show on The Mandalorian, it says it's a half-hour show. We're literally getting a half-hour show. And so that to me makes me feel like I'm getting more bang for my buck when it comes to things. And that makes me more apt to watch it rather than watching, 10 minutes worth of commercials that I'm not going to, products that I would never dream of buying. I will be glad for the day when commercials are banned. That will be my dream come true, is when that happens. But overall, another aspect of this that I think is really kind of interesting is they're only going to tell, it's like you said, they're not going to try to push this series into something that is beyond what their capabilities are of doing it. It's not going to be like The Simpsons that's going on for 30 seasons. It might be one and done. If they feel like they don't have the necessary stories to tell, then they're just going to say, you know what, we're done here. We're done here. We're going to call it quits, and then that'll be that. Now, that to me tells me a lot about what they think of the She-Hulk in general. Sounds to me like they're thinking that the She-Hulk probably isn't going to be a very successful show, and that they're just going to tell as many stories as they can for as long as they can, and then they're just going to call it quits. Now, that to me kind of leads into what Phase 4 is kind of trying to do. And I'll just be brutally honest in a lot of ways. I feel like Phase 4 is going to be a really boring phase because um, it's less about content and more about kind of pushing female characters to the forefront. Now, there's a lot of interesting female characters out there. But there's not. Let's just put it this way: I wasn't a huge fan of maybe a Black Widow movie. Like I just wasn't. I know a lot of people do actually enjoy Black Widow. I'm not really that excited about seeing She-Hulk. I am the further along it gets, I am excited about WandaVision. I think WandaVision is going to be a really good series, and I am really excited about seeing it. But overall, I think Phase 4 is going to be about pushing women to the forefront. Like I said, I don't believe it's going to be necessarily about substance and more just about pushing women. I think the MCU and comics in general, if anybody that's picked up a comic book recently, will know that Marvel and DC kind of have this, I don't know what you would even call it, fascination or belief system that they have. It's almost like a religious zealot to a certain extent. They believe that if you gender swap characters or you have females in the lead, that somehow that women are going to be like, I'm going to watch that show because it's got a woman in it. I personally think that's a garbage way of looking at things. I think that's kind of a bigoted way of looking at things as well. I've never watched this show and was like, you know what? It's got a guy in it. I'm going to go watch that show. I don't think that women feel that way either. I'm pretty sure that's not how human beings in general just work. But Marvel feels like they've got to do a lot of representation to garner all these successes from all this different routes. I kind of feel like that's kind of a poor way to do it. I look at it as kind of an insulting way to people, because if you think that women are going to watch it just because it's a woman lead, that's not necessarily the case. Look at, I don't know, Rey Skywalker. How many women were going to see the Skywalker films because Rey was in the lead? Not very many. Not very many. And don't get me wrong, it's not that I hate female characters in the lead. I don't. I actually enjoy a lot of the female characters. I enjoyed one. Look, I was very disappointed by Wonder Woman 1984 because I think Gal Gadot does a great job at Wonder Woman. That was no fault of hers. That was just poor storytelling in that movie. It was just poor pacing of it. But overall, she did a great job. I enjoy Harley Quinn. I enjoy all of those series. But what drives me crazy about a lot of when you see, I kind of have eye rolls. When my eyes roll when you start hearing commercials being like female driven character, because you can almost guess that they're going to be more focused on her being a female than they are actually putting a plot together. That's not how people feel connected to any kind of character on a show. They don't feel connected just because that character looks like them. They feel connected because of the storyline and the experiences that particular character goes through during that show or that book. That's what makes those characters lasting. That's what if you wanted to further women in media, you make interesting female characters. Don't just throw out a woman character out there like they did with Rey in Star Wars and just think, well, hey, this will sell because female character. That's not how it works. Not how it works, guys. Um, so that's my take on Phase 4 of the MCU. I kind of feel like they're just, just what I was reading just of Kevin Feige when it comes to She-Hulk. I'm kind of thinking they're just kind of putting this show out there, and they're not really excited about it. Like that don't did any of what Kevin Feige say there excite anybody about this show? It makes you think that really they don't really have any there. That they're just putting this show out there because hey, that's another female lead character in the role, and they can get a pat on the back by one of their buddies in Hollywood. That's it. That's it. I just cannot help but feel that way with She-Hulk. I kind of feel like She-Hulk might be a character that fans would get attached to, but when I'm reading something about Kevin Feige's like, well, we don't know how long this show will go. It might just be one and done. We don't have to worry about episode counts. We don't have to worry about how long things are anymore because we don't have to worry about syndication or any of that other kind of stuff anymore because of streaming services. So, if this, if it lasts, I don't know, 10 episodes and then it's one and done, then it's one and done. Like, that's not saying that, so you get attached to this character in season 1, you might never get a season 2. That kind of pisses me off that they would even start a show off with that thought process. That is piss poor thinking on Kevin Feige and Marvel's point for Disney Plus. That's kind of shameful in a way that they would even do that. If this character is somebody that is relatable, that fans will enjoy and look forward to season 2, I hope it gets a season 2. But I just don't like Kevin Feige's kind of mindset about that. Of, one season, it will just go as long as this story takes us. I guess I say that, but I guess there is some, it's kind of, I guess, in a weird way, a little bit refreshing at the same time that I'm downing it. And why I say that is because you don't want a Simpsons where that goes on for 30 seasons and basically ran out of ideas at season 15. You don't want something that you just feel like is a zombie that is just rehashing the same old stuff over and over and not basically a shell of his former self. But you at least want the makings of a show that you feel like you're excited about and you're thinking, hey, we've got 5 seasons worth of episodes of this. We're excited about it. We think it's going to be a hit. That's not what I'm hearing from Kevin Feige when it comes to She-Hulk. So I'll admit I'm a little bit hesitant about it. But guys, let me know what y'all think in the comments down below. Y'all excited about She-Hulk? Me, not so much. But hey, I'll give anything a try. I'll let y'all know what I think about it when it comes out. As always, guys, thanks for watching. And y'all